Our thirst for oil is not only crippling our economy, but it's also destroying our environment. The spoiling nature to get at the tiny trickle of oil we may have left does not make any significant difference of what we pay in the pumps. Not now and not ever. And it won't make our country any less dependent on foreign fuels. Our thirst for oil is bad for national security, it is bad for the economy, and it is also bad for the environment. America needs to say no to pumping up big oil's profits and yes to forging a new clean economy. Citizens and community members everywhere are seeking smart solutions to our two biggest problems, the economic downturn and the ecological collapse. The nation has fully realized that the solutions to these twin crises are linked. That is because nearly everything that is good for the environment and practically everything that is good in the fight against global warming is a job. Solar panels do not install themselves. Wind turbines don't manufacture themselves. Homes and buildings don't retrofit or weatherize themselves. And in our industrial society, trees don't even plant themselves. Real people must do all of the work. A well thought out shift to clean energy economy offers more work, more wealth, and better help to disadvantaged communities than it does any plausible business as usual scenario. In a time of economic peril, let us not forget that everything that is required to make America's economy cleaner and greener and more resilient is a career pathway for someone, or a business contract, or entrepreneurial opportunity. We can power America through this recession by repowering America with clean energy. We can create millions of jobs that will make our people wealthier and the earth healthier. Subsidies for alternative energy will allow industry to grow and technology to be developed and mature and drive costs down. Alternative energy is most developed in countries where government subsidies have been in place for some time. Germany put in place strong incentives in the early part of this decade to encourage the demand for solar modules, to encourage installations of wind farms, and to support the biofuels industry. Companies in countries with more progressive alternative energy policies frameworks therefore develop technology and intellectual property at an earlier state. Other European countries such as Denmark, Spain, and Portugal also embrace alternative energy. Therefore, companies tend to be more mature in Europe. However, the potential for growth in the U.S. is greater, and once a longer-term framework has been put in place, we would expect the U.S. to catch up extremely fast. The U.S. renewable energy resource base is vast and practically untapped. Available wind energy resources in 12 Midwestern and Rocky Mountain states equal about 2.5 times the total electricity production of the United States. Solar energy resources on just 1% of the area of the United States are about 3 times as large as wind energy. If production is focused in the high insolation areas in the Southwest and West with the right combination of technology, it is likely that even the use of coal can be phased out, along with nuclear electricity. Complete elimination of CO2 could occur as early as 2040. Elimination of nuclear power could also occur in that time. Biofuels can provide a number of environmental advantages over conventional fossil fuels, most notably a reduction in greenhouse gas. Since the transportation sector accounts for a third of total U.S. emissions of carbon dioxide, cleaner transportation fuels can also play an important role in addressing climate change. The level of emissions associated with particular biofuels depend on the energy used in growing and harvesting the feedstock, as well as the energy used in producing the fuel. On a full fuel cycle basis, commercial ethanol has the potential to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by as much as 52% over petroleum-based fuels. Even better, ethanol made from cellulosic feedstocks such as switchgrass or agricultural residue, such as corn stover, has the potential to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by as much as 86% compared to gasoline. Biofuels have an added benefit of providing a carbon sink. As crops grow to produce the feedstocks for making this biofuel, they can absorb carbon emissions from the atmosphere. Hydrogen is also another alternative to a fuel. While the fossil fuel era is entering its sunset years, a new energy regime is being born that has the potential to remake civilization along radical new lines. Hydrogen is the most basic and ambiguous element in the universe. It's the stuff that of the stars, and when properly harnessed, are made from renewable resources. It produces no harmful CO2 emissions or other greenhouse gases, and the only byproducts are heat and pure water. We are at the dawn of a new economy, using hydrogen as an energy carrier, which will fundamentally change the nature of our financial markets, political and social institutions, just as coal and steam power did at the beginning of the industrial age. The hydrogen economy makes possible a vast redistribution of electricity with far-reaching consequences for society. Today's centralized top-down flow of energy controlled by global oil companies and utilities can become obsolete. In the new era, every human being with the access to renewable energy sources could become a popular or could become a producer as well. When millions of end users connect their fuel cells powered by renewables into local, regional, and national publicly owned hydrogen energy webs, they can begin to share energy peer-to-peer, creating a new decentralized form of energy generation and use. Nuclear power, however controversial, is also a viable alternative to fossil fuels. Nuclear energy may just be the energy source that can save our planet from another possible catastrophe, such as global climate change. Look at it this way. More than 600 coal-fired electric plants in the United States produce 30% of the U.S. emissions, or nearly 10% of the total global emissions. The primary greenhouse gas responsible for climate change, i.e. CO2. Nuclear energy is the only large-scale, cost-effective energy source that can reduce these emissions while continuing to satisfy a growing demand for power. Wind and solar power have their place, but because they are intermittent and unpredictable, they simply cannot replace the big demand. Natural gas and fossil fuels is too expensive already, which is further driving our economy into the hole. And it's too volatile to risk building big baseload plants. Given that hydroelectric resources are built pretty much to capacity, nuclear is, by elimination, the only viable substitute for coal. Solar power can also become a prime choice in developing an affordable and a feasible global power source that can substitute fossil fuels in the world's climate zones. The solar radiation reaching Earth's surface in 1 year provides more than 10,000 times the world's yearly energy needs. In many cases, solar electricity is already cost effective. The cost of manufacturing both solar cells and modules and other components have been falling drastically over the past decade. As a result, it is expected that this rate of price decrease can be maintained in the future, with the right products therefore offering customers added value they are looking for, coupled with innovative marketing techniques such as solar electricity should be able to compete with the grid power in industrial countries. Wind power is also an important strategy. It can combat global warming. Wind power is also currently the most economically competitive form of renewable energy. It provides nearly 15,000 megawatts of power in the United States, enough to power more than 3 million households, and could provide up to 20% of the country's total electricity needs. Every megawatt hour produced by wind energy avoids an average of 1,220 pounds of carbon dioxide emissions. If the United States obtained 20% of this electricity in this form, which is wind power, by 2020, it would be equivalent to taking 71 million cars off the road or planting 104 million acres of trees. Expanding wind power instead of fossil fuels also avoids the wildlife and human health impacts of oil and gas burning, and also coal mining and fossil fuel burning. Thank you.